Welcome to the Cover Letter Workshop. This video is brought to you in partnership with the Seattle Public Library. You can find other job search videos and resources on the Seattle Public Library and WorkSource Washington websites. In this workshop, you'll learn what is a cover letter. We'll go over the goal and the purpose. Next, we'll talk about research and learn how to get a deeper understanding of the position in the company. And then next, we'll deconstruct the job position. We'll give you tips and examples to create a strong statement describing your experiences. And then last, we'll give you additional tips and examples. We'll talk about the cover letter aesthetics. All right, let's get started. What is the goal of a cover letter? The goal of a cover letter is to bridge the facts and experiences on your resume with the position for which you are applying. A strong cover letter should tell the employer why you are interested in an opportunity and how you meet the qualifications they're seeking. A cover letter is not meant to repeat what can be seen on your resume, but rather to supplement your resume by sharing information and details about what you can offer an employer. It is also an example of your writing skills. The importance of a cover letter depends on any number of factors: hiring manager, company, and industry. That being said, you should always have one on hand if it is requested, not only because some employers are interested, but also to prove that you can follow directions and submit one when asked. Research. The first step is research. You really want to know as much as you can about the company you will be applying at for a position. You want to demonstrate that you have a good sense of what the company's goals, missions, and values are. Typically, this information can be located on the company's website. It might be under the About Us or Mission Statement section. What are the words that they're using for their marketing and branding to describe themselves? This type of research can make your cover letter stand out. See if you can discover more about what you'll be doing in the position by utilizing other sites like LinkedIn, Facebook, or Glassdoor. See how other people who have had the position describe the work that they were doing. Learn anything that you can to really set yourself up to show you know a lot about the company. The more you can show the employer you have a good sense of how they represent themselves and understand the company culture, creating these connections will help the hiring manager imagine your skills at the company. Networking. Talking to people is the best way to gain insight. In your research, you'll want to practice building direct connections through networking. Being able to name a specific employer, event, or some type of connection may help you gain an interview. Talking to people will help you gain insight past what you're able to find online. Advancing your network through an informational interview or a career conversation is where you'll be able to learn about the work culture, the projects that the company are working on, and future projects. You can then use any additional insight you gain as a talking point in your cover letter. Now I'll talk about deconstructing the job description. Here you want to create a list of related skills and strengths that you excel in that are listed throughout the job description. Remember, you want your cover letter to be concise. You will not be able to talk about every skill that you have, so focus on the key skills repeated or emphasized in the job description. Go to jobscan.co. It is a tool that can be really helpful to assist you in identifying keywords. This is especially important if you're submitting your cover letter and resume to an online listing. To get past the applicant tracking system and to a real human being, your cover letter will need to contain the right keywords. To find these, scan the job listing for keywords related to the skills and qualifications required. Steps to writing a cover letter. 1. Identify the main qualifications the employer is seeking. 2. Consider how your education and experiences meet the listed qualifications. 3. Present your fit with their position by sharing details about your experience or personal characteristics. 4. Emphasize what you offer to the employer related to the position, not what the employer can do for you. 5. Provide specific examples of stories of demonstrated skills and related experience. Within these stories, highlight your job-related skills, specialized training, coursework, class projects, and any significant accomplishments. Structuring your letter. A cover letter should be no longer than 1 page. Though the exact number of paragraphs may vary, you should certainly include an opening, body content, and a closing paragraph. You should use a business professional format with your contact information, the date, and the employer's address in the header. We will go over a professional header, how to capture your audience in your opening paragraph, adding details in your body paragraph, and a concise closing paragraph. Here's a tip. A cover letter should be tailored for each job, no generic form letters. Address the letters using an individual's name. If no name is given, use hiring manager or recruiter. Write the letter in your own words. Use a conversational style and avoid lengthy academic sentences. The purpose of your cover letter heading is to provide your contact information to the hiring manager. In a traditional cover letter, this information would be displayed in plain text, either in a centered or left-aligned position at the top of the document. What should go in your header is your info. Create the header with your name and contact information from your resume. Next, the date. List the date you are submitting the application on the cover letter. Next will be the company information. List the recruiter's name. If unknown, use hiring manager. Then write the company's name, followed by the address. Header format examples. Keep in mind the goal is to provide an easy-to-read header that provides 3 components: your information, the date, and the company's information. If you've opted for a traditional cover letter header, it'll look something like this: your contact information, which matches the same formatting as your resume. So, your contact information. Regardless of the design, your cover letter header needs to include the following information. Name. Your full name should be the focal point of your cover letter header with a large font size and bold text. Address. Your address would include your street address, the city, and zip code. However, it's acceptable to omit your street address and just use your city and state. Phone number. If you're applying for a job in a different state, city, or country, make sure to include the relevant area country codes at the beginning of your phone number. Email address. Use a professional email address such as yourname@gmail.com. Online profile. In this digital era, you're encouraged to include a link to your relevant online profile, such as your personal website or LinkedIn profile. Date and employer contact information. The next step is to list today's date followed by the employer's contact information. Make sure you leave a space between the date and the hiring manager's name. Include the following points directly below the header in the upper left portion of your letter: today's date, the hiring manager's name, the company address, the company street address, the company city, state, and zip code. But wait, shouldn't the hiring manager know their own contact information? Of course they should. And that's why it's become acceptable for candidates to exclude this information when submitting a digital application. In which case, you would start your cover letter with today's date, followed by a simple greeting for the hiring manager. But more on this in the next section, addressing a cover letter. Addressing a cover letter. You only get one chance to make a first impression, so make sure you start your cover letter with the appropriate salutation. Ideally, you want to address your cover letter to the hiring manager in charge of the position you are applying for. You can often find their name in the job description or on the company's website. If you can't find it, don't panic. If you can't find the hiring manager's name, you'll need to use a generic greeting, such as "Dear Hiring Manager." Or if you'd like to make it more personal, tailor your greeting to the team or department you're applying for, such as "Dear Accounting Department" or "Dear Accounting Team." Avoid using surnames such as Sir or Mrs., as it can be very difficult to determine a preferred pronoun based on someone's name. The opening paragraph. The first sentence of your cover letter should draw in the reader by connecting yourself to the job. State the position you're applying for and how you learned of the position, and basic information about yourself pertaining to the role of the job. That's your elevator speech. You want to grab the employer's attention. Why are you interested in this position and why this organization? Use your community. If someone has referred you to the organization, a current employee, friend, or family member, include his or her name. Need help getting started? Answer some of these questions to help you consider what you want to say in each paragraph. Paragraph 1. Why are you interested in this position, this organization, and what in the posting made you say, I've got to apply? The following example is a cover letter writing for a designer position. The letter starts by hooking the reader through emphasizing why the applicant is interested in this position with this specific organization. They draw on their passion, experience, and they relate it back to the position. I'll read the example. Dear hiring manager, whether it's designing layouts for in the workplace or at home, I have a personal habit of evaluating empty spaces and thinking about how to allocate content. It was thrilling for me to discover the XYZ design company because I realized I could make a career out of this spatial awareness and creative thinking. Through my time as a human-centered design and engineering student at the Seattle colleges, I have developed both design and technical skills while pursuing projects, internships, and various leadership roles. I am eager to bring these qualifications to the UX designer position at the XYZ design company. Body paragraphs. The middle paragraphs, the hard sell paragraph. Here you want to expand on your qualifications, highlight examples and indicate stories when you have demonstrated these qualities, and tell the employer how the experiences you are highlighting are relevant to the position. Now that you've covered the basics, it's time to delve into your experience and accomplishments. But this section isn't just an opportunity to boast about yourself. Here you'll match your qualifications to what the company is looking for. You'll use the skills, experience, and qualifications listed in the job description for inspiration. At this point, the hiring manager has already reviewed your resume, so don't waste space repeating information. Instead, connect the accomplishments on your resume to the goals of the company you're applying for. Here's an example. I noticed in your job description that you are looking for a candidate that will require very little training and supervision. After gaining 4+ years of dental assisting experience, I can guarantee that I am completely familiar with the routines associated with patient care, record keeping, performing dental work, and handling scheduling, billing, insurance, and even doing inventory maintenance. Need a little more guidance? Think of this section as 2 parts. Second paragraph. Mention specific qualifications from the job description and how you have demonstrated those hard skills in your past experiences or educational endeavors. Utilize the keywords from the position description itself. Experiences can be paid or unpaid. For example, pull from academic projects, research, coursework, internships, study abroad, volunteer work, leadership roles, etc. You are trying to show how you are a strong candidate for the position. Take 2 or 4 experiences from your resume, but make sure to seize the opportunity to expand on what you've already shared. Third paragraph. In 1 to 3 sentences, state why you are interested in the company you are applying to. Take advantage of this letter to let the employer know what extra skills and abilities you are bringing to the table. Include transferable skills you have acquired that would create a holistic profile for the employer. Keep in mind these skills don't have to be content matches, but they should still be abilities that you could put into use in this role. In addition to above and beyond skills, consider including professional accomplishments that will show the employer recognition of your abilities. Body paragraphs example. This letter is an example of an automotive student who is providing various stories to keep the letter interesting as well as add more information than the employer can see on the resume. During my 6-month internship at Engineering Motor Corporation, I developed all aspects of a hybrid engine prototype, including building and testing prototypes using computer simulations to assess performance and safety. I further deepened my drafting and testing skills as an intern with Home Health Company, where I tested fixtures and wrote extensive reports documenting my findings for the design team. I look forward to applying my engineering skills to a comprehensive vehicle research position. Through my academic projects and club leadership in the Seattle College's chapter of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, I developed strong project management and interpersonal skills. As the president, I managed a 6-person team to plan a successful departmental banquet for 300 attendees, including local industry leaders and prominent faculty. In academic projects, I take the lead in organizing tasks and keeping the group on track throughout the quarter, despite busy schedules and competing priorities. Here's another body paragraph example. As an accomplished sales producer with 8 years experience in automotive sales management for 2 dealerships in Pierce and King counties, I have consistently demonstrated leadership and motivational talents that produce steady growth throughout my tenures. A few of the credentials I bring to the table include consistently meeting ambitious monthly sales forecasts, exceeding profit objectives by 32% in 2018, by 49% in 2019, and by 58% in 2020. Proven effectiveness recruiting, onboarding, and training retail sales teams that have led their territories and production from 2014 through the present, capturing top car sales awards each year. More than doubling customer traffic by hiring dedicated automotive internet sales team members. Introducing stringent inventory control policies that reduced overhead by 40% while maintaining an optimal range of vehicle types. Your cover letter should describe what you have to offer the employer. Mention why you are qualified for the job and how your skills and experience are a match for the position for which you're applying. Provide specific examples to prove your skills and experience. These examples will pop on the page if you provide them in a bulleted format. Use simple bullets such as circles, dots, hyphens, or small squares. Avoid other symbols that might look too confusing or may not upload properly when you apply for jobs online. Keeping it simple will avoid funky formatting in your cover letter. The closing paragraph is the action paragraph. Now is the time to tie it all together with a strong concluding paragraph that hits all of these key points. Reiterate your interest in the specific company and position. Finish with a compelling call to action. That prompts the hiring manager to invite you in for an interview. Thank the hiring manager for their time and consideration of your application. For your signature, you will sign your name on a printed cover letter, or if you upload or email your cover letter, your signature will be your typed name. Need help getting started? For paragraph 4, what final point do you want to make? Here's a closing paragraph example. Because of the above example and my background in the service industry, I feel well suited for the events coordinator position. I am dedicated to the fine dining experience and standards that Tom Douglas restaurants have come to be known for, and I have the organization, communication, and multitasking skills to enhance and enliven your team. I would love to speak to you about my fit for this role. You can reach me by phone at 206-555-5555 or via email at saoki@seattlecolleges.edu. Thank you. Sincerely, Jason Jobseeker. You want to indicate that you would like the opportunity to interview for a position or talk with the employer to learn more about the opportunities. State that you would be glad to provide the employer with any additional information needed. Thank the employer for their time and consideration. Here's another example of a closing paragraph. I would like to discuss your sales associate position in detail and would be happy to come in for an interview at any time that's convenient for you. I'm available by phone or email. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Jane Applicant. This is a concise example of a closing paragraph with all the key points. The closing paragraph. Cover letter conclusion, sign-offs, and signature. The final step is to authenticate your cover letter by signing below the closing salutation. If you're submitting a digital copy, it's not necessary to include your signature. Instead, just type out your first and last name. However, if you want to include a signature, it's appropriate to include an e-signature at the bottom of the document. Your cover letter sign-off or complimentary close is your opportunity to bid adieu to the hiring manager. Be sure to use a professional yet friendly letter close. Now we'll talk about cover letter aesthetics. Font style. Keep your cover letter font clean and professional. There's no shame in using one of the classics such as Times New Roman or Arial. Avoid using fancy fonts that might be deemed as unprofessional by a hiring manager, or even worse, can't be read by an applicant tracking system. The font size. When selecting a font size, aim for the middle course and avoid extremes. Use no larger than a 12-point font and no smaller than a 10-point font. A smaller font will cause the hiring manager to strain their eyes, while a larger font might be regarded as unprofessional. Margins. Err on the side of caution and use margins between 1 inch and 1.5 inch. If you're strapped for space, it's okay to slightly adjust the margins. However, avoid large adjustments that give your document a stretched or crowded appearance. Spacing. Proper cover letter spacing includes leaving space between each main part of your cover letter. Leave space between the date, recipient's address, salutation, body paragraphs, sign-off, signature, and your name. Style. Use positive language, confident but not imposing, concise with supporting detail, written in active verb voice. Do not overuse I statements. Example, I am, I have, or I did. And customize every letter to every job you apply to. File format. If you're submitting a digital copy of your cover letter, it can be difficult to know which file format to use. Unless otherwise stated, most companies expect you to submit your cover letter in a PDF format. This is because PDFs cannot be altered. They don't pose compatibility issues, and they can be read by the ATS, the applicant tracking system. When saving your cover letter as a PDF, make sure to use an appropriate name such as your name coverletter.pdf. One last thing, the cover letter length. How long should a cover letter be? The perfect cover letter length can depend on a wide variety of factors. As a rule of thumb, your cover letter should be between a half page and a full page. Usually this means between 250 and 400 words. Above all, it shouldn't exceed the 1-page length. Stick to the essentials. Use the space to comprehensively but concisely showcase your most relevant qualifications to the role. You could write a short cover letter, less than 150 words, if you want to make sure the hiring manager reads it. After all, they don't have a lot of time. If you submit a 3-page document, they likely won't have the time to read it. Here's a tip. Your cover letter is a text-heavy document, which means a lot of room for mistakes. Reduce the margin of error by having a third party review your letter before submitting it. Here is an example breakdown. Let's walk through a full example together. Let's say you're someone who has experience supporting a sales team as an administrative assistant, and now you're looking to become a sales representative. You come across the following job posting. Here's how you might translate your past experience over to a new, exciting prospect. Always start with reviewing the job description. Responsibilities. Develop new sales techniques and strategies to build pipeline and hit team goals. Coordinate with other teams to increase lead generation efforts. Assist in the processing of new business, including contacting customers to finalize sales and service transactions. Now the requirements. 1 to 3 years of successful sales experience, strong communication skills, oral and written, ability to thrive in a fast-paced, ever-changing environment, ability to work independently to plan, set priorities, and effectively organize work, proven ability to be persuasive, persistent, and confident in closing a sale. Okay, let's break it down some more. Why this works. I'll read the example. Dear Maria Ross, a personalized greeting. The head of sales at Sunshine Incorporated was in a bind. She needed 6 client meetings scheduled, 18 service transactions processed, and a summary of the team's new lead generation campaign drafted before getting on a flight to Austin in 3 hours. So why this works? The opener draws you in, leading you to want to learn more. It toots the person's horn, but in a way that's traceable. I'll read more. For 3 years, I worked in lockstep with a busy, growth-oriented sales leader to support the business of a development team. As the sole administrative assistant in the department, I balanced many competing priorities, ranging from data entry and meeting coordination to contacting customers, finalizing transactions, and creating promotional materials. This role helped me to develop a comprehensive understanding of the sales cycle, sales strategy, and pipeline growth. Like many others, my career path has not been entirely straightforward. After leaving Crabapple Media, I enrolled in a local coding training program. 6 months later, I emerged with a certificate in computing programming and a certainty that I did not want to be a coder. But education is never wasted. I am now an aspiring sales representative with experience supporting a thriving sales team and extensive knowledge of the tech space. Why this works. The next couple of sections explain both their experience in the sales space and in roles before, eventually tying back to why they are applying to this specific job. The author lists some of the more important qualities they bring to the table, doing a bit of keyword stuffing and resume gap explaining along the way. This sample cover letter concisely highlights the person's significant achievements and ties them back to the job description. By adding context to how their projects were created, monitored, and completed, they're able to show just how results-driven they are. One thing worth noting, this person didn't include skills such as Google Analytics, HTML, CSS, Photoshop, Microsoft Excel, and SEO, all of which are listed in the job description. The reason they decided not to was simply because those skills are most likely in their resume, and they wanted to use the space they had to discuss specific projects and tell a story not visible on the other parts of their application. I'll continue reading. Here's a little bit more about how my experience would translate into this role. Here's a nod to the job description. At Crabapple Media, I assisted in coordinating 3 annual sales strategy rollouts, each yielding a 26% increase in pipeline YOY. At Sunshine Incorporated, I supported 12 independent team members in their lead generation efforts. I also assisted in processing an average of 300 sales transactions every quarter. I thrive in busy, ever-changing environments that require me to communicate clearly and concisely. Supporting a high-volume team and a busy executive helped me to hone these skills. I typically sent more than 200 emails a day. Here they make an example of making an impact. I would, of course, love to schedule a time for us to discuss this role and my experience, and I truly want to thank you for considering me. Sincerely, Jane, applicant, and the signature. This is an example of a cover letter sign-off or a complimentary close. Okay, like I said earlier, cover letters can play a big part in helping career changers prove their worth, especially when it's unclear how your skills transfer over to this new field. Writing a career change cover letter requires a bit more strategy. You'll want to highlight the obvious transferable skills you have that relate to the job description, but you'll also want to draw a line between experiences you had in the past and the responsibilities you might have in this new role. Finally, you'll want to explain, if not emphasize, why you're making this switch and what's driving you toward this specific industry, company, or position. Before we close, I'll answer some frequently asked questions. Figuring out how to write a cover letter can be tough. There are many sources out there for advice and information, but often job seekers have no idea where to even start. Of all of the frequently asked questions about the cover letter, here are the most common. Follow these tips and you'll be well on track towards landing the perfect job. Do employers really read the cover letters? The importance of the cover letter depends on any number of factors: hiring manager, company, and industry. That being said, you should always have one on hand, not only because some employers are interested, but also to prove that you can follow directions and submit one when asked. You want to focus on the letter itself, making sure it speaks to how you will add value to the role and that a quick glance would compel someone to keep reading. It's safe to say that people who read cover letters really do care, and the letter will make a difference. So we always recommend sending one. What is the relationship between the cover letter and a resume? A good cover letter and a good resume have much in common. Both address what makes you different and, most importantly, ideal for a specific role. Both are brief and clearly expressed, but thorough and specific. They ultimately tell the same story. The primary difference is that a cover letter is a narrative, whereas a resume is a series of lists. The only other marked difference is that a cover letter gives you a scope of freedom to explain unique situations, like the gap in your work history or a non-standard career path, in great detail. Another question is, should I follow up after sending my cover letter? You can if you like, but if you decide to, wait around 5 to 10 business days before doing so. Most recruiters and hiring managers are buried in resumes and cover letters for any given job. You're not being ignored if you don't hear back from someone right away. If you follow up, don't call, just send an email. And the last question, should I mention why I'm on the job market? So there's no specific requirement to give an explanation for your current status as a job seeker. If you parted with a company for reasons that are perfectly acceptable, such as a business closure, then including that information can send a positive message. Just remember, a well-written cover letter can put you miles ahead of the competition. Before we head out, I wanted to provide you with some free resources. The first is going to be JobScan and JobScan Learning Center. JobScan is a web service that helps job seekers land more interviews by using algorithms used in top applicant tracking systems to analyze one's cover letter, resume, or LinkedIn profile against any job description or posting. This resource enhances your opportunities to landing an interview. The Indeed Career Guide provides you career advice on how to find a job, tips for writing your cover letter and resume, how to ace that interview, along with finding a new job and choosing a career path. It has an assessment test you can take and a lot of resources you can check out when it comes to building your career. WorkSource Washington is a good place to sign up for career readiness workshops and hiring events. It also has a lot of other information such as unemployment benefits and healthcare benefits. The Seattle Public Library gives you 24/7 access to free books, online classes, and a whole online learning platform, WOIS, the Career Information System. Now, this planning tool gives you access to more than 600 detailed career descriptions, hundreds of detailed college training programs descriptions, ranging from short-term certificate programs to even receiving your PhD. So it's a good place to begin to map out your career along with your education. Also, if you have any questions regarding WOIS, please contact the Seattle Public Library. They'll be happy to help you navigate the webpage and answer any questions you may have. We have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us. If you would like assistance with a cover letter, resume, job search, or internships, you can schedule a one-to-one appointment through our email, worksource@seattlecolleges.edu. You can also drop into our virtual walk-ins during Zoom. The link is on the South Seattle College website. The address is southseattle.edu/worksource. And I'd just like to mention that all of our services are free. Again, I would like to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.